Aloha and welcome to Capital Connection with your host, Angus McKelvey. I'm your moderator, Tom Blackburn Rodriguez. Our guest today is Senator Lorraine Inouye. Senator Lorraine Inouye represents Hawaii's 1st District on Hawaii Island. She is chair of a very important committee, the Senate Committee on Water and Land. We'll be talking to her a little bit later on in the program about issues of concern to the senator's constituents and also those throughout the island. And now your host of Capital Connection, Senator Angus McKelvey.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're excited to have Senator Lorraine Inouye joining us today to talk about issues of obviously affecting both the Lahaina community post the fire and Maui in general.
Well, Senator, I know you've been busy since the last week that we got together. You had a meeting yesterday with the CWRM, which
No. That's no. There was a CWRM, which is Commission on Water Resource Management, public meeting yesterday.
CWRM.
People in the community came out. It was quite a long hearing to express their concerns about stream flow, inflow stream standards, water usage, the potential of water emergency management areas came up clearly, especially with the fire. Water is more of an acute issue now. And so we'll be discussing, too, some of these things with the senator when she comes on. But, yes, it was a meeting that drew the kind of attention and focus that it deserves, and even more so given the things that are going on right now.
Senator, given that there may be people in our audience who are not as knowledgeable as you are on these initials, and obviously I was not. What do you see, Worm, and what does it do?
Well, like I said, we'll go into that with our guests, but it's the Coastal Water Resource Management, it's the Commission on Water Resource Management, my bad. And it's a commission set up by law to help ensure the proper management from the state side of water resources. There is interplay, tension, between the county water department and the commission and the Department of Land and Natural Resources over water issues. Some of that played out last year in a couple of bills. But anyway, this is what the commission does. And like I said, when we get into our interview with the Senator Inouye, her committee actually helps to oversee the commission and its work through DLNR.
Well, we'll look forward to that, Senator. Thank you very much. Now, what else went on last week? A DCCA meeting?
Well, yeah. Now, that meeting I had with the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, it was to follow up on the points that were raised during the CPN briefing on insurance and the other issues that affect them. Some of the good updates for the community to show that we, got to have them responding. The big one that came up was the inability of adjusters to get into the area to begin doing adjustments for people's insurance claims, and then not being able to utilize technology like drones to do additional assessments of structures in the burn area. So the DCC announced in the meeting, and we put it out there, that the insurance commissioner, working with the Maui Emergency Management Office, has a program to bring the adjusters in. You can simply go ahead and you can head to our website where there's more information, or the DCCA website, where you and your adjuster can get into the burn area through working with NEMA. And that if your adjuster wishes to use technology like drones or other things, that they're trying to facilitate that as well. So that was good movement forward. We also stressed again to them that the eviction moratorium issues are still there, and that we need to address these loopholes that are in the emergency proclamation because it's occurring. And that's and finally, we addressed the issue of price gouging, and in particular in the area of rents. And we're looking to see if the price gouging statute could be applied to the rental market to keep it from hyper accelerating, which it appears to be doing already.
Senator, I've had a couple of conversations this past week with folks, and they've given me some really hair-raising stories about rent being increased on a monthly basis almost. Is this the price kind of gouging you're talking about?
Yes. This is we want to try to address this through that price gouging statute, this inordinate radical increases in rents are another sample of price gouging. and that if we can hopefully get this applied and the AG can work with us on this, addressing this issue, it's a very important issue. It might be able to help, tamper it down or at least start to address it. But right now, you have all of these rents which are at such a level where they, and we're talking to the DCCA, there could be a strong argument made this is price gouging. But the price gouging statute in the proclamation, it has to be specifically called out, it sounds like. So that's why we're working with them on hopefully being able to address this issue through this mechanism.
You talked about the possibility of an eviction moratorium. Do you have a few more words to say about that, the AG and what they're doing, looking at that issue?
Well, no, as we discussed a minute ago, with DCCA, we want them to try to look at the eviction moratorium that's currently in the emergency proclamation to try to extend it, expand it, of course, to commercial properties. The other one we're hoping is rental spaces, storage spaces. A lot of people have stuff in storage spaces, or they put stuff in there. They were able to perhaps salvage, but if they fall behind and don't pay the rent, then they get evicted. So that's an area I'm like, well, we should look at this, and generally closing the loopholes that have been used to allow people to evict people and then repost the units, at much higher prices, given the demand that's now on it.
I don't think I would have even thought about the rental units. That's something that was that I had not really seen on my screen. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, again, this is the victims talking. These are the people. This is kind of the number one thing coming up, and to do this would hopefully be able to preserve a way for them to keep their stuff while they work on the housing situation course, which is in flux,
right?
Even for the victims themselves. Yeah.
Now you were over on the south side of your district this week. You did a couple things over there. Want to talk about the Key Charter fundraiser and the Grow Some Good group?
Yeah, we went out to join the Key Charter School. We thank Principal Zaro and the staff and the members of the board and everything for putting on an amazing fundraising show for Lahaina side. It shows the solidarity that we feel in the west side toward the south side, and I could feel it there that evening. It was great, and Crossing Rain came and played, which was a nice surprise. Of course, it actually had Crossing Rains before they came on, and I really thank them for coming out, and we're excited about potentially, use the word potentially, everybody, working with their management team to maybe see if we can get them out to the west side to do something for people out there. But we were very happy and gracious that they came and gave of themselves, and their talent to help the cause.
That is an incredible group. That's a high-energy group, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they sure. And they were excited about being there. They're excited about, having them being able to contribute and help the victims, and it was really amazing meeting them. And they've been following, what has been going on very intimately, and I can tell that it definitely has affected them. And, they, God bless them, just really threw their heart and soul into a great show, and I'm hopefully we can, get this West Side concert to happen. But again, don't want to put the jinx or the whammy on it, so it's something we're just going to hopefully be able to discuss and see if something can happen.
And what was going on over there at the school, the elementary school? Grow Some Good?
Yeah, we had Grow Some Good was Community Gardening Day. Grow Some Good. We went down there at Lokilani School, got dirty. I was part of the compost hauling crew, staging the. I go. Some people are always sort of like, "Yeah, that's a great job for."
I'm not even going there, Senator. Okay,
you should be used to hauling all of that around all the time and shoveling it everywhere. And I was like, "Yeah, I could probably. Yeah, you're right. I may have a familiarity here." But it was really good. The kids, threw themselves into it. There's some definitive needs, which was great, that we were able to discuss with the coordinator. We're hoping to try to find some creative solutions to help them now, including perhaps maybe utilizing the dislocated worker program to provide some kind of labor support for their different endeavors. And also, working with the county, Councilmember Cook, on some of the things that are actually can be done with the county property next door to help increase the safety of the garden at Lokilani School. So
well, that is
a really great event. I mean,
great group.
It's
a great group, really is.
Yeah, they're really great. Good. The parents were there. And, and they've already been growing some good. And, with the kind of support that they need, hope they can expand. One of the things they do is they make this green juice out of all the vegetables and everything that they grow there. And they did a sampling testing, and the kids loved it. It was just like they keep asking for it all the time.
Wow,
So
wow.
it's like if we can support this, if we can perhaps use some creative ways, duplicate work or whatever, to give them that support, then potentially, and perhaps get some support for the, the little kitchen that they have. We can, they could ramp it up, and this could be part of the kids' daily thing. And so, this is why. And after the disaster, and I brought this up to them, you look at these resiliency programs in a different light. And they are part of the web of resiliency that needs to be created. So that's another reason why it's a good program that I'm going to try to really hopefully get more and more support for, not only at that campus, but all the other campuses. Because it is important on all those levels for so many different reasons.
Senator, we have Senator Inouye on the line calling in and to have a conversation with you. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Tom, and aloha kakahiaka, and to all of you and the listeners as well on Maui.
And Senator, she is all yours.
All right. Aloha, Senator. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on this morning.
Oh, aloha to you, Angus. You're up early in the morning.
Yes. Up early in the morning. But yeah, it's get a good going on the day. So, I wanted to talk to you about the different issues obviously that have come up really in more focus because of the wildfire and other things. And we touched about it earlier in the introduction, which was the Commission on Water Resource Management, CWRM. Can you give our, listeners an idea of what CWRM generally is, although we kind of discussed it, and, what about your support for Kaleo, the director of CWRM, and then how you viewed the meeting on Maui. What issues do you think are kind of important
Sure.
are coming out?
Be happy to, Angus. And just to let your listeners know, I live on the Big Island. I am the senator for Senate District 1, which is in the Hilo side. My districts are from Pepekeu, Papaiko, and all of Hilo. I do have a seat in the Senate as well. I am the chair of the Committee on Water and Land and vice chair for the Committee on Transportation. I have been the committee chair of Transportation for the last 16 years as well. So I'm happy to actually get involved with and my time working with Angus and concerned about what's happening on Maui. We've had tsunamis here. I was a displacee living in the district when we had the 1960 tidal wave. So my sympathies go to all of those that lost their lives and to the families as well. So, yes, with regards to the Committee on Water Resource Management, that's under my purview as a committee chair. I do confirm all the members of the commission. I do confirm as well the oversight of DLNR. So my purview is also confirming the director of DLNR as well as the deputy of DLNR as well, the number 2 position in DLNR. Now, the Commission on Water Resources is one of the many agencies under DLNR, and this particular commission is very important to all of us within the state, but also to recognize that is in our Constitution and the guides as well is in our statutes. I am just happy, as Angus did mention, I was involved in seeing that Kaleo retains his job back as the deputy director in CWRM. I have been a big supporter of his, and just to let you know that there's, I guess on the outside, there's some hesitation in being a supporter of the direction that Kaleo does. But all he's doing is protecting the Constitution and as well as making sure that the issues with regards to West Maui and his role in protecting the IFS is so important to our local communities, particularly in your area, Angus, as well as making sure that those stream flows continue to make sure that it flows into the direction that has been for many, many years as well. And for those who are have taken over their generations, the family generations of the Lo'i farms, is something that, we live in a state of tropical paradise under the United States. So let's protect what we have and make sure we continue to encourage as well those in the future taking over the cultural activities of our Hawaiian people must be protected. So with that said, I am happy again that Kaleo is back. And just to let those know that I made that challenge legally by sending a letter to the Attorney General and the Governor that what they did was wrong, totally wrong, because you can't make decisions on the commission, any commission level, whether it's for the Commission on Water or any other commission, that all actions must be given before the commissions for their approval or disapproval. So what they did solely just to move Kaleo from one place to another is very concerning, because if he wasn't brought back, then it trickles down to the important work of our commissions.
And also it raises the specter that, to your point, the commission is a statutorily independent group set up to delve through these issues, and if the head of it could be taken off for various reasons, policy, political reasons, at any time, the whole work of the commission and the validity and independence of it is called into question. Would that be a fair assessment right there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But again,
yes. And
let
Let
me say this, Angus. I was very proud of the people on Maui. I was online on YouTube watching the commission's meeting there on your island, and if people were watching it, Kaleo did a great job in identifying and showing the pictures of all those wells and that covers all of the, I would say, the water flows. He did an excellent job, and I'm glad he took pictures and made sure that the people throughout the state as well must keep up with making sure that the infrastructure that flows, that provides water resources to any district or any entities within the confines of a county is brought up to speed, and make sure that we protect our water use, and as well as continue to make sure that it's monitored.
Yes, those are very critically points, and the cultural significance can't be understated. But also, Lahaina, when stream flows were unadulterated from the plantation days, had vibrant streams flowing down to the point where you had Moku'ula, a large freshwater body of water in Lahaina, and a canal system, actually, where the streets were today, where people actually came. And this created a green Lahaina back then, and, to have this thing there, if you could bring this back, incorporate it, you create natural fire breaks. One of the areas that got burned, Puamana, I flew over in a helicopter the morning after, and everything up to the edge of this little river that flows through it was burned on the Lahaina side, and then right on the other side of that, there's a green belt around it. Everything was pristine and intact. I looked at that and I go, if that's not another more compelling reason for us to be really aggressive about trying to restore in-stream flow, this shows it right here. But one of the issues, obviously, is that has come up in Maui has been the tension between the Native Hawaiian community, the community itself, the need for water resources, and developers who are trying to, get water for housing projects, but not just affordable housing projects, but for all the housing projects. So the concern is that this puts tension and stress on the streams and hinders the ability of cultural practitioners to have access to the water. Do you see any ideas or things?
Well, absolutely. Let me add, Angus, and for those that's listening, I was a former mayor of the Big Island. I also was a former planning commissioner as well. So I understand the county's responsibilities. Let me say this. Any development in Hawaii County, if there's a development to occur, then make sure that part of the development plans that they provide their own resources. And so with that said, with the demand for more housing, then the county is responsible to ensure that there's enough water supply for these developments as well, but also to make sure that the developer creates their own water source. Let them build their own water wells if there's insufficient funds. But that's important. Taking water from agriculture use, or as we already understand, we must address and take care of our cultural IFS streams, is important. So stay away from that. But if the county is going to encourage more buildings, or even those existing as well, and they have issues, let them find a way to create their own water source.
Well, that actually touched up an issue that's come up has been private water companies, which is in front of Seaworm, that there are private water companies that have access to the resources for themselves, and that they're not allowing for the proper...
Well, I understand that, Angus, but they got to understand that there is already in statute and our Constitution to protect our cultural resources, and that includes the waters that continue to flow for the purpose of agriculture for our Hawaiian people. But to also maintain that the private water companies as well not tap into those in-stream flows. That's what I'm trying to say. If they continue to want to create more developments in their Kuleana area, like their own subdivisions, then I think the county has to step in and ensure that they provide their own resources. I mean, that's
very good
serious.
point, Senator.
Exactly. It's a county's responsibility.
Yeah. I just think that in the past, the concern has been raised at Seaworm that the information of water being released and if it is being released wasn't being given to the commission freely and openly. And so,
there already is a court case. And the courts decided, the environmental courts already decided, and they're protected. So why are we revisiting this issue again when it has been settled? So that's very confusing.
That's very good points. That's very good points, Senator. I'm glad you're able to shine some light on that.
I'm very familiar with the issues on Maui.
Oh, yeah. No, and I appreciate you giving us that perspective, especially from, you also had the historical perspective of being, on the county level on Hawaii Island. You've seen it from the interplay from that side as well, which is important.
Absolutely.
And obviously we need water for ag, too. It's one of the things that you've consistently fought for. You've been a big champion for agriculture on the Big Island and trying to ensure that they had the means to be able to continue. And that's something that the Seaworm's work is important in that area, too, would you say?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And to add to that, I'm very proud that Act 90, which allows DLNR that has agriculture lands under DLNR leases be transferred to the Department of Agriculture. And Act 90 was a bill in 2003 that I introduced and the governor signed into law that any lands that are under the agriculture criteria that's managed by DLNR Land Division be transferred over to Department of Agriculture. And I must add, Angus, that part of the cattle industry that has been fighting to increase their lands leases as well went before the Board of Agriculture the other day and was approved as well. And so it's moving. There were, I understand, 99 leases this past ag commission, and part of the 99 leases includes leases, cattle pasture leases on your island as well. And so we're happy for that, and more to come.
Oh, that's very good, for sure. I know we really didn't, it's not in the script per se to touch upon it, but it's a good segue is, DLNR, your committee, has a lot of oversight with issues that are with the Department of Ag. One of them is access deer. You can briefly touch upon some of the work that your committee did this year to help address the problems on the DLNR
we did pass, yes, with the state's funding and how your islands need to approach getting rid of the excess deer. We provided the resources as well, and you're on my committee. And hopefully that things are working on the mediation as to how the process is working. Hopefully we can get a report from the Department of Ag as well as the management of that project is going. So, we're in fully support of how we can continue to make sure that agriculture in Hawaii is maintained and getting rid of those issues that stops the agriculture from continuing whatever we need to do, to sustain our ag industry as well and make sure that we have sustainability in all of agriculture going forward.
Agreed. One of the things you did as a chair this year was with every new administration is you confirmed the different cabinet heads that fall under your program area. And one of them obviously was the chairperson for the Department of Land and Natural Resources, Don Chang, whose confirmation you obviously supported despite all the issues coming up. Now, 6 months later, what kind of report card would you give to the nominee that you confirmed? And what do you see as some of the things that you thought perhaps that in doing so that have come forward, and what are the things that have come up that perhaps gives you pause for concern? What would be your grade after 6 months of job after your confirmation for the chairperson?
I think at this point, the administration, this new administration has gone through the 6 months. And I would say probably coming down to the end of the year is a good time to assess that situation. I'm very concerned, though, with how the leadership has moved, in particular, the issue with Kaleo manual and seaworm. The entire state had to look at this situation and with the issues that Maui has undergone with the fires. Why are we upsetting the apple cart? And so, there was an opportunity, I guess, for the governor, maybe, and we all know that, though. Their goal is to replace seaworm direction under Kaleo. That's not going to happen in my term as chair. And so let's see how we look at the activities and the process that the new DLNR chair is providing. I understand it's not only this issue that affected seaworm. There's some morale issues happening, but I think at this point in time, let's see what goes on in the next couple of months that's left in the year. But again, we're making sure that our work does not stop, but making sure that things are moving along as it should be with DLNR. Another issue that's very uncomfortable for me is how DOBAR, which is under the chair as well, is reacting to making sure that we address the issues with the small boat hoppers and the Lahaina harbor that has been lost. Now,
Yes,
there
and
is, I understand, you will be announcing, and then you have, just reminding people that there will be a forthcoming meeting. I will be bringing staff in to be at the November 1st meeting on Maui regarding the Mala and looking at Lahaina Harbor's reports and Maaleo's use. Maaleas. So very
yes.
concerning. Let's and that's under the purview of the current chair, and see how the direction of the deputies managing to work with our voters, and that is an issue that I'm keeping my eyes on.
Yes, that is a huge issue for us because many people were very disappointed and questioned to kind of allow to see why the deputy director was removed and not allowed to engage with the stakeholders anymore, when all of the good work in trying to bring the people together to work these issues out pre-fire was moving because of the fact that, so having that disconnect was very upsetting. The other thing that's been upsetting has been all the meetings, I put quotes in the air, that have been held between DOBOR and the users have been done through what they call a webcast. So it's like a TV broadcast. It's one-sided. You don't get to ask questions. You don't get to chat. You just watch.
I understand, Angus, and that was one issue that I was very disappointed, and that's why I remarked that I was very disappointed with DOBOR in how they're managing to communicate with the voters, and the issue of the three small boat harbors in that district. So it's very concerning. I am one who's a big supporter of the industry of fishing as well, and for those that were not aware, I have joined Angus in two meetings that I have personally attended on Maui. One was with the business community, and as well as meeting with the insurance meetings that was held under the jurisdiction of Senator Kehokalole. Now, during those times that I visited Maui, I also was approached again by the industry in the districts, and very concerning of hearing their issues. So let's see what happens come the meeting on November 1st.
Yes, but I think the deputy director had done a really good job in trying to bridge both sides and getting both sides to kind of talk and work together. One of the things that have come up, and this may be your point, in Lahaina Harbor, the DAR, the Division of Aquatic Resources, did sampling of this like layer of toxic ash or dust or ash that's on the bottom of Lahaina Harbor. The harbor's been burned out. A lot of the people in the boating community feel that the harbor was kind of basically a product of the negligence of DOBOR over the years, just stuff slapped together, stuff put here, broken stuff there. And so the feeling is we could totally take this tragedy as an opportunity and reorient the harbor and create a world-class facility which improves all of the operational and other issues that were occurring. Do you think that the state and DOBOR should be, looking like the community as this harbor was destroyed, but there's a potential to rebuild it and make it better and work better?
Well,
do you think we should have that kind of attitude in this, or just here you go?
Well,
this is what
it
got
has
left.
to. We will be rebuilding the harbor as well, and I hope that the message that we're going to hear from the division and the director on November 1st is that Lahaina Harbor will be rebuilt. We'll do all we can in the upcoming session, that the resources needed to start that project will proceed. Now, there's also another issue, though, that the voters, Angus, that you're already aware of, is how are we salvaging those boats that is underwater, and the process that's going to proceed in managing that salvaging. My understanding is that that's under the direction of the Coast Guard. Now,
correct.
I understand also that they're looking at bringing somebody from the mainland to do their project. On top of that, that particular contract, they'll probably put out another subcontractor or some contract to another entity to actually legally do the salvaging work. Now, that also involves, I understand, those boat owners are still under a questionable, and I agree with them to be concerned, because now I understand that the USGS and the contractor is going to go after in payments of that work. And so now that's another insurance problem. I hope that whatever the cost that's going to be borne onto the boaters doesn't exceed what's allowable under the insurance coverages. Now, going forward, we have to make sure we're on top of that, because if there's two contracts out, what is the cost, the end cost that's going to be charged onto the boaters, the owners of the boats that are being salvaged, and how, and so what I'm trying to say is that, let's hope that this particular issue doesn't draw the boat owners into bankruptcy. Let me share a concern, because
that
if
is
it
a huge concern. Yes.
Yeah.
The cost you have the Coast Guard bringing in a company.
Well, the cost that's going to be put on to the boat owners may include ending up, if it's a high cost, going into taking their other insurance. Let's say that they did have a home insurance, and they also lost the home. I'm so concerned, and we should be concerned, that these boaters not ending up going into bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, and the thing I want to touch upon is your point with the Coast Guard contract. With this company being inserted in the middle of the contract, they have a history of exorbitantly overcharging. They're going to use as their actual subs, to your point, the existing contractors that are here that the DLNR, the state, could have used had we gone that route. So now you have another company with no resources in the middle, using the people we have here and charging an arm and a leg, and now they're going to go and recapture this exorbitant cleaning cost off of the boat owners, and now they've gotten a settlement for their vessel. The entire amount could technically be taken, so they're not going to buy another boat. So you're going to see boats disappearing from Lahaina Harbor.
That's the concern I raised, Angus. Again, we're talking about having people go back to work. We're all the governor and your mayor already decided we're going to bring in more visitors. Now, why are we doing that and not allowing and helping our own people on your island somehow get back to work? And this is one issue that concerns me as well. And to your point about the grading of how we see the actor, if we can give her a grade of her performance as of now, is very concerning.
Senator Inouye, this is the moderator. I think you may be accidentally touching your phone buttons. We're getting a beeping sound coming from you.
Yeah, I hear that as well. I'm trying to stay away from putting the phone onto my ear. I was wondering where that was coming from, so I hope you're able to hear me.
We're doing you're doing just fine. I thought I would just raise the issue. It's an important issue that the two of you are discussing, so I just wanted to interject that. That's all.
Thank you.
But
Thank you for that.
just to really quickly leave it at this thing, I think the thing, from the community isn't, will Lahaina Harbor be rebuilt, is there the political will, the vision, the leadership to work with the community to rebuild it better? Or are we simply just going to rebuild the problems that were there to begin with, which made the harbor struggle and suffer? And it is, to your point, it is an economic engine. This should be maximized, made efficient, right?
Senators, you have about 2 minutes left in this segment. Is there anything that either one of you want to talk about regarding wetlands restoration?
Yes. Well, one of my I want to add, Angus, and we've been doing some work. I'm doing a pre-session work with regards to fish ponds, and these are an issue that I feel we should deal with, the fish pond issue statewide, because each island has just an enormous amount of fish ponds. And so I'll be working along with the Fish Pond Group, and matter of fact, your chair belongs to, she is a resident of Maui, but there's going to be a lot of dialogue with regards to not only the wetlands, but also how we're looking at fish ponds in general, in particular because it has to do with our cultural practices.
Yes, yes. And I think the wetlands thing, for us, we're working with a Native Hawaiian group in South Maui that's already doing wetland restoration, and already they've created a fire break naturally just by restoring the wetlands. So do you see working next session on perhaps these kinds of resources not only will provide for wetland restoration, but also provide protection from communities naturally from fire?
It's going to take a lot of resources because when you look at it, we're looking at our islands in Hawaii. And so, there's so many territories that we must be dealing with, and certainly protecting our wetlands and making sure that they can thrive as well. But let's not go into issues like has been in the past generations where wetlands have to be used for other purposes, like overbuilding on wetlands, and that will never occur, hopefully.
That is a really huge fundamental point that I can't help emphasize.
Absolutely.
Senators, you have about 1 minute left in this segment.
Yes, it has been my pleasure. Yes, it has been my pleasure working with all of you to address issues with regards to Maui, and I'm working alongside with Angus and trying to be part of, his accomplishments because that's his district. And kudos to all of you who have done so much on behalf of the people of Hawaii as well to make sure that Maui is strong, is continuing to be strong. Aloha, and God bless to all of you.
Thank you so much, Senator. I appreciate what you're doing because you're taking the end user experience, you're hearing, not just listening, but hearing what the people are saying, and you're really helping us by using your positions to demand answers and push on it, on all the things we've talked about. So thank you for being aggressive and being a diligent chair and helping us get the answers we need and making sure that the straight information that will work gets up there and is acted on. So thank you again for everything.
You're welcome. Look forward to seeing you folks on the 1st.
Yep, me too. Aloha.
Senator, that was a great conversation. That was a woman who is dedicated to her job.
She is. She's great. I mean, Senator Inouye, I've been served on her committee last year. Yeah, we had our own policy disagreements here and there, but our heart has always been in the right place. And to my point earlier, she's been very good, both at the CPN hearing as well as working with the affected people in her program areas about getting out, dialoguing with them directly, and holding the agency responsible for ensuring that what people need is actually happening. So that's the kind of support that I think is important for Lahaina from the Senate side to help us get these answers and align the resources next session so what is appropriated is going to end up actually being useful to the community and as a response to us hearing them.
Senator, there are a couple of things I know you want to bring up in the last 8 or 9 minutes we have here, but if you would allow me, I would like to let you know, breaking news, that Representative Johnson has been selected as the new Speaker for the House of Representatives with a vote of 217. He needed 215 in order to prevail. He has received 217 votes. Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has received 203 votes. There were no votes for others, and now Johnson appears to be the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, and that is breaking news occurring right now.
Okay, well, hopefully that will translate into either some mortgage relief, a HUD exemption from the president, and or addressing the STEMA issue that we just talked about. So,
well, and the funding
if that precipitates any meaningful movement, then I guess it's good.
We do want to make sure that the funding continues to come to Maui. Now, is the governor speaking with HUD on mortgage issues, Senator?
Yes, the governor went out with several other people, from other areas, to talk about several things, and I guess hopefully the mortgage situation will be on the agenda as well as discussions with HUD on some of the things that can be done potentially to allow some kind of a federal waiver from the HUD rules, because we have a lot of affordable housing that's coming online that have to adhere to the HUD rules, and so therefore these units can't be dedicated to immediately housing the fire victims, giving them some kind of meaningful housing to stabilize. They have to go to a lottery system. So the hope is maybe something can be done on that end. I know that I will be following up on my end with our Congresswoman Jill Takuda, who's been very great from the very beginning and continues to do so, and on these issues. But I'm hopeful there'll be some movement, and because it's desperately needed, and every day that goes by, unfortunately, more and more people outside of Lahaina are starting to fall victim to the effects of the fallout from this disaster.
There's a Keiki Health Fair coming up. You want to tell us about that, Senator?
Yeah, Keiki Health Fair is coming up. We're going to have this Saturday, 11 to 5, Whalers Village. We're going to have Keiki Physical, Family Wellness, food and music, fun activities, and more. It's one of the things that the resort is doing, working with the state and the county to try and create, a community environment for the victims, and a way for people to get together and get the services they need, but do in a fun environment, right, where they feel relaxed and and so yep, that's going on, and come on down, and this goes on to our drive of trying to hopefully use events like this to get more mental health resources over here too.
I think it's very important what you're doing, Senator, is working with community groups, and the theme seems to be hope rather than despair. That hey, we're hearing this together, and here's some things we can do to strengthen our community.
Well, it's always been about that to me. I mean, it's like, and that's why I talked about that when I was interviewed at the first Luna football game 2 weeks ago. It's hope. They like the way forward. They put the entire town on their shoulders, and they've already been through enough. And win, lose, or draw, they're restoring hope. And it's funny because the end of that game was a total hope miracle movie. I mean, last second victory from behind. So I think it reemphasized the point of hope. People had a bounce in their steps. But any meaningful things that can happen, that people really need, whether it's immediate financial assistance or all of these things, they do provide, and the fair, they provide hope. But we have a lot still to do, and quite frankly, we're way behind the 8 ball. So, but these kinds of things do show that the support is there, and you can create that kind of healing environment where people can kind of get together and feel there's a normalcy of their old town somewhere, right?
Is there a meeting on Mala coming soon?
Yes, the Senator Inouye touched upon that. There's a meeting coming up on Mala. It's being hosted by the Director Chang and the Division of Boating and Ocean Recreation. My apologies. The meeting's being held. I will be there. Senator Inouye will be there. We want to see exactly how this thing, is going to play out with all the stakeholders. The first complaint that's coming in about this thing is it's being held on the other side of the island. So, already you've got a kind of a strike one going on. But I'll be there with her. She's bringing some of her her staff there to monitor and take notes, so we can really see and be there with the community, so their voices are heard. There's a lot of frustrations touched upon. This is one way to ensure that the powers that be understand that these frustrations are ones that we in the Senate take seriously.
So this is the meeting that's going to be on Wednesday, November 1st at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center in the McKelvey Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the question of why is it being held on the other side of the island? Yeah.
Our question, too, and there have been all sorts of issues of lack of meaningful engagement. So we'll be there, and I'm sure it'll be quite a packed room, given all of the issues we've talked about and people have heard about, and, again, the frustrations that are boiling over right now.
I think this is designed, as from what I'm looking at, that your staff has provided, it's for a meeting for recovery and operational updates regarding Lahaina Harbor and Mala Wharf, including updates from the following divisions: Division of Aquatic Resources, Division of Boating and Ocean Recreation, and Division of Conservation and Resource Management. So they're all going to be there.
Yeah, all going to be there, but they're all going to be there. But the questions remain. The issues remain. I mean, it's great they're going to be there, but are you going to actually have answers? You have to actually have hearing, or is it going to be more of we're going to talk to you, and we're doing this, this, and this, and it's a one-way street right now, and that's why there's so much frustration going on.
Well, I think I look forward to that.
That's why Senator Inouye is taking a particular interest in being there to send the message that we are watching and hearing what the community is saying. We're taking notes. We are going to push hard on this thing, and the fact that this is allowing to continue is getting worse and worse is bordering on unacceptable. So hopefully there'll be some reorientation going on based upon this meeting, and the different groups that obviously are very concerned and upset with everything, and the disruptions that have occurred with the work that's already been going on is really something to.
Senator, we have about a minute left in the program. You want to tell people how they can contact you for questions or concerns?
Yes, you may contact me or my staff in my office, and they're always there to help on issues, whether it's DUA, state things, please give us a call, 808-586-6070. Address, email is McKelvey, SENMCKELVEY at capital.hawaii.gov. Facebook, Instagram handle at Sen McKelvey. We've been doing a lot of work helping individuals with issues on assistance and other things. Please give our office a call. We'll work hard to try to get your situation resolved. And although we're not going to promise 100% success, I will, that we're going to work 100% hard to try to see if we can help you in your endeavor.
Thank you, Senator. Another great show, and be sure to tune in to Capital Connection every Wednesday at 7 a.m. right here on KOI 1110 a.m. and its affiliated FM stations. Aloha, Senator. Have a great day.
Aloha, everybody. Have a great day and a great week.